Hello, Tamily. Are you ready for our 109th interview? 109! I can't get over it. You would think by this time we would realize how many interviews we've had going on. But it is certainly a lot. And today, our guest will be Allison. We'll get connected with her in just a moment. And her Instagram name, in case you don't follow her already, is little.mamahood.life. And I see her right there, so we'll get... Hello!
Hello!
Thank you so much for joining us and for being our 109th interview.
I love it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're super excited to get to know you a little more, Allison. And of course, we have some questions planned, but we will check the chat throughout the interview and intermingle any questions that come in live as well.
Sounds good.
So everyone watching, definitely type in any questions that you think of, and we'll be sure to ask them. So, Allison, we'd like to start with our favorite question, which is when and how did you start with the Tracy Anderson method?
Okay, so I'll start at the very beginning. Back when I was in high school, I would do the Cindy Crawford tapes. Do you remember the Cindy Crawford? So I've always exercised, and through the years, I kept doing stuff like that. When my sister had her second baby, which was 13 years ago, and this is my cat, by the way, joining, she did the Post-Pregnancy 1 DVD after she had the baby. And I remember watching her do it and being like, this is interesting, but I wasn't having babies, so, didn't really think much of it. But that was the first time I had heard of her. And then I continued through life. I continued exercising, and we had an elliptical, and I'll try to keep my cat's butt out of it. I had an elliptical, and ironically, I was watching TV while doing the elliptical and saw Tracy's infomercial. And it talked about body types, and I thought, well, that's interesting. But, I was, doing my thing, not really thinking about changing what I was doing. I also was doing like bar workouts. So I did Physique 57 and Pure Bar. And I worked out the same amount that I do now, but I was not ever really seeing results. So I felt like I put in a lot of effort and wasn't getting much out of it. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was after that I saw the infomercial again, and it really clicked for me, the whole body type thing, because I was very hippie. Mm-hmm. So I was extremely imbalanced, like small on the top and then huge hips. And I thought, you know what, maybe this could do it for me. Maybe if I tried this, it's 90 days. Let's do it for 90 days, see what happens. So it was February of 2013. I remember because I joined the message boards on her old, forum. And I was in the February 2013 starters group. And so I started then. And I did the 90 days of hip centric, and it was like the most amazing transformation. Like it was nothing. And honestly, at that time, I think it was even less effort than what I had been putting in on an elliptical and doing bar workouts. So I would do the muscular structure workout for 30 minutes, and then somehow I was 60 minutes of cardio on those, on the DVD, the cardio from Meta. I know. I still feel like that I have it memorized. Like it's not even a dance, and I have like all the all the things memorized on it. The hip centric and 60 minutes of cardio, and then I also like became a judge and watched. You're clocking. Are you there still? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I read and like watched everything Tracy. So like on YouTube, I like watched all her QVC appearances, like gleaned like any teeny tiny thing that I could get out of it. I was like super I wasn't using heat and humidity at that point because I don't even know if she had talked about that, at least not outside of her studio. So I wasn't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I read, and then I was honestly in the best shape of my entire life. So I hadn't had kids yet, and I was in like it had shrunk my hips a ton. Mm-hmm. So really like inches everywhere. I lost about 10 pounds, and at that point I got pregnant, and I did the pregnancy project through my pregnancy, and I stopped dance cardio at all, and I just walked 2 miles every day. Okay. And I listened to myself, but I did try to push myself, and it helped. Like just moving some every day, whether it was just the walking or doing the Tracy part of it, or keeping active. I think that really helped me.
Yeah.
And then after I had my baby, I did her post-pregnancy 1 and 2, and then I went back to Meta because streaming wasn't out yet.
Okay.
So I did that for 90 days, and then that's right around when streaming came out, and I switched to that. And I will say that Tracy is a genius, like an absolute genius for bringing your body back after you have a baby, because my hips then were smaller than before, like majorly smaller. Not even, because I would use the little tape measure that they gave you in the, which I think is a great tip, is that always measure yourself. And then taking pictures too is good, but like the scale, which I think is important, but it's not necessarily always going to tell you what's happening with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I measured everything, and yeah, like even after having babies, my hips were definitely smaller.
Yeah.
And then I switched to streaming, and then I got pregnant again, and basically did similar. However, I did do some streaming while I was pregnant with the second one because it was out. Mm-hmm. But since I have my notes, I'll talk about that more later. But I tried to really listen to myself, and I get a lot of DMs about because I posted a lot of information about my journey when I was pregnant. I get a lot of DMs about like, what did you do? And my big advice on that to begin with is firstly talk to your doctor, because I think that's very important. But listen to your body. Like other women were pregnant at the same time as me, and they were doing totally different things. Mm-hmm. And that's cool. Mm-hmm. They were doing what's right for them. Yeah. But and then I figured out what worked for me by really trying to tune in and listen to how I felt. So I think I did beginner. I started trying to do advanced like right at the beginning. I was like, can we swear in this?
Of course.
I'm like, fuck, I can't do this. So I switched to beginner, and then I added advanced arms at the beginning, but I didn't do any of the jumping. So I did that pretty much my whole pregnancy, and then I also switched out some doing the pregnancy project. Mm-hmm. I was kind of like, it's funny how your body, the muscle memory of all of it, like remembered all of it from my first pregnancy, and I was like, oh, okay, I haven't done this before. Mm-hmm. But yeah, all the way to the end. And I didn't do any dance cardio either pregnancy, but I walked a lot, and I think that was helpful. Mm-hmm. Oh, and this is the only time too that I ever did any other workout besides Tracy since I started Tracy. So I've only done Tracy since I started, except I did Ilaria Baldwin's yoga, pregnancy yoga, which actually was really good. Yeah. So I did that. And then after my son was born, I did the post-pregnancy DVDs again. And then I actually restarted Meta, which I know she doesn't necessarily recommend now. But at that time, she hadn't said that yet. So I redid 90 days of Meta, and then I started back into streaming, and that's what I've been doing since then. And my body came back really well again. In fact, I think my hips are smaller again. However, after a second baby, I have more loose skin. It's, I don't necessarily post that, but, it's there. And who knows, maybe over the years, it'll tighten up more with this. But it is what it is.
That's excellent. That's such an awesome journey to hear about, especially like results you saw in the beginning and then getting through 2 pregnancies. And Tracy actually said something about that on the Ask Tracy.
Yes.
Like that she can make your hips smaller than they were.
And it's true.
That is crazy.
It is absolutely true, because I think just genetically, my hips were, they were like childbearing hips. They were big. And then she uses the relaxant, and it like, so before I had babies, it was just like the muscles pulling in, right? And it pulled them in. It did. It changed it. But with the relaxant, it like even more, it like squeezes them together.
What's amazing.
So,
that is really amazing.
Yeah. I have actually, I think it was Maria Kelling who said one time that sometimes like when women want to really change their body, Tracy will ask them, well, are you interested in having a baby? Because it like, because it's so much, you know, like it allows her to like really design you.
Wow, that is unbelievable. So what other kind of results would you share that you've seen, you know, besides obviously those physical aspects?
So yeah, like I said, I lost inches, lost weight, and my hips got smaller. My body was more balanced too, because I felt very out of balance. Like my hips and my thighs were always large. I will too say as a caveat that I lost my boobs from doing this. Like, you know, that's where like I wish that the fat came off of my ass, but you know, it comes off my boobs first. And you know what? I'm fine with it. I've definitely come to peace with that. But I can wear a push-up bra, right? But mental results are like huge, huge, huge. And I, especially with what's going on right now in the world, like I don't even know where I would be. Like I'm already stressed out with this. I think that it really has like mental balance. And after having babies too, like, and that's so stressful. Like, and my husband is very, very supportive, and I think part of it is because I'm nicer after I work out. Like, he like, you know, he's like, sure, yes, please go work out.
Right.
You won't be mad at me after. But yes, mental balance is huge, and I definitely started out more in the vanity like lane. You know, I wanted physical results, and then but it has evolved through time to also being definitely a mental thing for sure.
That is really something that I think is different about this method. Like, I mean, even other methods that you try, I don't think they land in that mental space, but
No, they don't.
Like everyone that does the method is like, of course I came here for physical results, but I stay for, you know, the ability to get through life because of it.
Right? Exactly. Absolutely.
Who in the Tamily inspires you?
Okay, so I wrote a big old list down, and honestly, I could spend the entire hour talking about Tamily, right? Because I could list every single person. But like as a whole, I feel like I really love the Tamily for a few reasons before I go into specific people, is the transparency, right? And the realness of everyone there. Where, you know, people aren't in the Tamily and posting to be like, hey, look at me, like, look how cool I look when I work out. Like, that's not what it is. And with that in mind, like, I posted a photo 4 days after I had a baby of my stomach because I wanted to show people, like, I don't want to just show the highlight reel. You know, you want to show, like, what it legitimately is. And I think that because before I had my first baby, too, I had no idea, like, that you came home from the hospital and you still looked pregnant. Like, we're not all Hillary Rhoda, right?
Yeah.
Or she doesn't look pregnant anymore. I'm like, whatever. You know, but to be transparent, I love that. I love that about everybody, and the authenticity. That, you know, it's also authentic and connected.
Yeah.
And also the vulnerability. Like, so many people post such vulnerable things, and everyone responds so positively. And just there's no negativity. I don't think that I've ever gotten a negative comment, like, ever. And isn't that insane on social media that like there would not be negativity? Like, that's amazing to me. And with that, everyone's so legitimately supportive. Like, everyone, like, I wrote, you know, that I was nervous about this, and people are sending me, like, you know, messages with a high five, and you've got this, and it's fine, and I was nervous too, and I did a really great job, and have a glass of wine.
Yeah. There you go.
You know, but like, it's just so amazing to me that like there is this community of women out there that just are there to support each other. Like, Kim, you even, like, and I'm an introvert, like, and you know, I have a few really good friends, and I'm not out there public speaking, and like, but I love the ability to connect with people still. And then the fact that I'm able to do that on my terms too is pretty awesome. Okay, so who inspires me particularly? Firstly, you and Nicole, because you're amazing. And the fact that you do all this is so awesome, and I've enjoyed watching so many of them. I think that's just a really neat idea that you had, and I love it. And then next, Julie, who is, I'll say their handles too, Julie74, Texas to NYC. So she was my Got Your Back girl partner back in the competition. And she had known of Tracy for a long time before that. She had known, like, she had watched the Oprah and, like, so she had been doing it. And she wanted a partner. And I said, sounds good. So we were partners, and I got to know her, and she's an amazing person. And that was right before she started, working with Tracy and having her big transformation, which was amazing. And then she ended up, moving to New York, and I had the chance to finally meet her at a Vitality Weekend. It was like, it was epic. And then also Roz, she doesn't post as much anymore, but she used to live, her handle's rb.msp. So she used to live in San Francisco, and she was the first Tamily member that I met.
Aww.
So that was very special to me. And she used to come out to where I live for her work.
Okay.
And so we would go out to coffee or tea. And it was always so fun because when you get together with someone who, has this passion that you do, and you can actually like talk about it, and they understand, and because, I'll talk to friends and family, and they're supportive, but they don't necessarily get it. So it's fun to talk with someone who is on the same wavelength and connect like that. And then Tracy Fit Family Life. I love her because she's just amazing, like all around amazing, and she's gorgeous, and I just love watching everything about her and her family. And Jillian Corey, because she is like the OG Tamily, and she's so amazingly upbeat and positive. Every single thing, like if I'm feeling down, if I look at her thing, I'm like, okay, I feel better. And Alicia, the AWT.tam, because she's like so her amazing strength. Like I watch her, and I don't know, it just, it lifts you up and makes you feel like, if she can do it, I can do it, so. And Cassie, Sass Time, because I'm just mesmerized by watching her in her room. Like, her room is amazing, and she's amazing, and she's gorgeous. Yeah. And Katie Instatam, because she is insanely hilarious. Like, every single thing she writes is totally hilarious. And also, she moved 15 minutes away from me.
Oh!
And we planned to see each other, and then COVID happened.
Oh, gosh.
So we haven't seen each other yet, but we plan to once we can. So hopefully sometime soon. But yes, she's hilarious. And then there's a few mommies who had babies at the same time as me.
Aww.
So Natalia moves. So she had her second baby at the same time as I did. And Rachel, Tam Addict 35. So they both had their second babies like within a month. We all had our second babies.
Oh my God.
And so that was fun to like share the journey of the pregnancy with them, and then like have the babies, and then Rachel's also had a third baby since then, which I can't imagine because I'm not having any more babies, but so, props to her. And then also Samantha, which I don't even know how to say her. I sound like Tracy. I don't know how to say it. Salmony Tammy, because she's the sweetest mommy. Like, I like her love for her kids. I love it. And then two more, and then we can go to the next one. See, I told you I'd take the whole hour with this. RVA love Rachel, because she has her man do it with her. I mean, like, come on. What? I messaged him, and I'm like, how do I get my dude to do it with me? I mean, that sounds wrong, but like, to do nothing with me. I'm like, what? Huh? That's so, I love that. I just love that. And then Kristen LA for Tam. Kristen, because she's always so supportive, and I love her comments. And then right before this, she also told me that it was okay to have wine at 10:30. So cheers.
Absolutely. Especially during a family.
Okay, so that's that question. So I used up the whole hour.
Not even close. We got plenty of time. And we have some questions in the chat, so I want to go through those next. Let's see here. Katie actually said, will you please show us more of dance cardio? Pretty please, but not on fast forward.
Maybe. I will say, with everyone being so supportive, I still do feel silly. Like, I look silly. I feel like I look silly when I do it. Although I love the dance cardio.
Same.
Epically, but, So maybe, yes, for you, I will do it. Maybe tomorrow.
Yay. Awesome. Then we have a question from, looks like Augie Ava. I'm not sure if I know her. So I'll definitely make sure I get to know her after this. But she said, can you discuss the Super G cardio floors? I have knee issues, and is it portable?
Okay, so that's the other thing besides babies. Now that I have the floor, which is right over here, I get questions about that all the time now. It is amazing, and I know, it's a luxury item, like for sure. It's expensive, and I always said to my husband, I said, when I turn 40, I'm getting the freaking floor. Like, we're gonna put money aside, but I'm getting the floor because if I'm, and which is next year, so I turn 40 next May.
Okay.
And then when COVID hit, for some reason, he asked me if I wanted it now. I don't know.
Inspired.
So I'm like, yeah, of course I do. Of course I do. So I ended up getting the portable one. So
Okay.
it is movable. I got the 10 by 10, and I would suggest that if you can afford it, to get the biggest one that you can for your space. I think 8 by 8 would be great, but if you could move up and you could afford it, I would get the bigger one. So it is portable. It's heavy. Like, it came on a pallet. When they shipped it to us too, they said that it might take extra time because they have to send an elevator truck to your house to like unload it into your driveway. So it was huge and heavy. So, but yes, you can move it. So that's why I chose this too, is that if for some reason we don't plan to move, but if we do move, I don't lose my floor.
Yeah.
Or like when my kids go to college in however many years, maybe I want to move into a different room. I don't want it in here. So
yeah.
And it was very easy to assemble. My husband did it in like an afternoon, and it is like effing amazing. Like I've been to the studio and thought, oh yeah, this floor is awesome, but like actually having it, like it's beyond. Like doing the cardio, all of a sudden the cardio was like way more fun, and like you just feel like buoyant, and like I was like, so I could do 30 minutes, like, and it was like nothing. I'm like, this is awesome. And then I went on vacation after I got the floor, and I was doing the dance cardio like on and it felt like mud. It's funny how like you forget what it was like before. I'm like, I could barely move my feet. I'm like, what's going on? And then I came back, and then it also helps with the muscular structure, because which I didn't anticipate, because it freaking tells you if you're plopping your weight down. So like you're doing a move and you like go pull up, you're like, oh crap, I guess I probably wasn't supposed to do that. Like, and so it's totally helped me like hold all the stuff in my core more, so that I don't just like plop my weight, which has been totally helpful as well. And the balance moves are harder, for sure. So all in all, and so I think I answered yes. It's portable, and it's just absolutely amazing. And I would, again, I know it's a total luxury item. I've been eyeing it for like years. There was that sale last Black Friday. I'm like, oh, I really want it,
right.
So I feel lucky to have it, but it's if you can figure out a way, I would do it. 100%.
Well, that's like definitely some additional benefits you wouldn't even think about.
Right, exactly. And she says it's triple calorie burning. I don't know for sure if it is. I mean, I haven't checked myself, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we have another question in the chat from Laura Lee, and she says, how do you balance your workouts with mommyhood? Sometimes it feels like such a struggle to balance it all.
Yes, it's hard, especially the younger they are, for sure. I was scrolling through my old posts as I was reminiscing and thinking about this interview, and I was seeing like how I was fitting it in when my kids were napping. So, it was for me now, because my kids are 6 and 3, so it is a little bit different, but it's hard. But my main tip is that I tell my husband, I say, this is when I'm going to work out. It's not, and I'm flexible-ish, don't get me wrong, but like, it's not a question, can you watch the kids while I work out? Like, is this okay? I'm like, nope, I'm working out. This is when I'm working out, and you'll watch the kids. And that is just how it is. And I think you have to be that advocate for yourself. You have to do that. And like on holidays, it's not 100%. On holidays, I'll get up early and do it before the kids are up.
Yeah.
Or like when we flew to Hawaii last year, I got up at 3 a.m. to work out before we left, because I knew like I wasn't going to be able to work out when we got there. And I like to get it in because it helps me feel better. So I got up early. I didn't say we have to take a later flight because I have to work out, but like, but I think the main thing really is just that and I have a very supportive husband, so that's helpful, but like, you just have to tell him, this is important to me. I need to get it in. You can watch the kids for an hour.
Yeah.
An hour and a half. And he even does it with the lives when I'm gone like for 3 hours because I also leave to watch the breakdown ahead of time. And I'm like, oh, I must watch the breakdown. So, and the sanity of having like an hour and a half to yourself where you don't have to worry about anything else. And there has been, and he'll come in, like if my kid got really hurt or something, he's going to bring my kid in. One time, well, more than one time, but like my son really wanted a hug.
Aww.
I brought him in for a hug, of course, but in general, they don't interrupt me, but those things happen. Of course, those things happen. But in general, it's like, he can handle it. You married this person too, right? Or
yeah,
you trust them, I hope. And so they can handle it, and let them handle it. And then you have your time, because that time by yourself is like, it's precious. And there's nothing, I think, more beneficial to your mental health than having that like hour and a half to check in with yourself and just be by yourself.
Yeah.
And it definitely helps me be a better mom, for sure. Because I know that with my kids, I'm sure I would be shorter with them if I hadn't had that chance to have that me time, and feel like I'm supported too, which is nice.
Yeah. We have another question in the chat. This is from Aggie, and she usually asks like very deep questions, but this question is, does the floor make noise and does it squeak?
So that's what my husband was afraid of. Like, he's like, I really thought it was going to make a ton of noise. I mean, a teeny bit.
Okay.
My shoe sometimes squeaks on the floor, but no, it doesn't. Not really at all. And I mean, I've had it for 2 months, 3 months.
Okay.
So maybe it will with time, but like, no.
Cool.
It's pretty good. Maybe it'll need some WD-40 down the road.
Right.
Because it really legit is just like springs on a subfloor. They're like, I don't know, 16 inches apart or something like that.
Okay.
And they're 6 inches high, and then like a really thick hardwood floor and pieces on top.
Okay. Gosh, you're selling me on it. I live in a house now, and now I want the floor.
You need to, absolutely.
Okay, I think that's all of our questions in the chat right now. So let's ask you, how do you personally get and stay motivated to work out regularly?
I like this one because I felt like before I did Tracy, it was very hard for me. Like, I felt like I was and I was doing like DVDs that never changed. That's actually not a note I had, but the fact that it changes every week is huge. Like, and by that last day, like, I'm pretty done with it. Like, and I'm ready for new stuff. So before that, it was hard. Like, and doing the elliptical too. I'd watch the TV and like zone out on the elliptical. But for me, it's definitely easier with Tracy because I just love it so much. And also it's become a habit for me. So I've been doing it for so many years. I don't question it. So I just, at almost the same time every day, I just do it. I don't let myself think, well, should I today or should I not today? Like, I just do it. And it gives amazing results. So I have that in caps, like, results. Like, and they're amazing. So that's what I tell myself. Why would I not want to do it? It's been life-changing for me. And you just do it. You just do it, and you get your alone time. And then also, I haven't had a rest day in like a year. I was looking at that. But doing the method, I've gotten really good at knowing myself and being able to check in with myself and knowing if I'm bullshitting myself. So do I not want to work? Do I really is it something physical? Is it something mental that I really can't? I can be like, yep, I really can't. But most days, you know what, I can. And I know that I'll feel better after I do it, and I won't regret it. And the days where I would probably regret it are the ones where I already know I shouldn't do it. So there's, mainly there's been times like if my kids are sick and I just have to be with them, of course I'm not going to do it. most times, well, what do they say? Like the rule of thumb is like above the neck, you can work out, below the neck, you don't. So like I had a UTI after my son was born, did not work out. Like no way, there was no chance on that.
Yeah.
But like I have a runny nose or stuffy nose, like I probably will work out and I'll feel better after.
Right.
And I was going to say something else about that. Oh yeah, about the rest days. So the last time, because I was looking at this, the last time I took a rest day was a year ago when we went to Disneyland. And I brought my stuff and we were walking around all day. And then at night, my son, who was 2, had to go to bed. So I stayed in the hotel room with him, and my husband and my daughter went out to see the fireworks. And I could have worked out. I totally could have worked out. But you know what? I was tired. He was asleep. I had nothing to do. I could have done it. No, I was tired. I wanted to take a shower. So I took like this epically amazing long shower. It was like 30 minutes long, which I have not done since my kids were born. And I remember texting my best girlfriend and my mom. I'm like, I just took the longest shower that I've taken in 6 years. And it was like the best thing that's ever happened in my life. So that was worth it to me. Like taking that shower is more important than the working out, for sure. So you have to, don't bullshit yourself and the truth of your results is in what you put into it,
Definitely. That is the biggest lesson. We have more questions in the chat. So we're nowhere near asking you all of our planned questions, but I want to make sure we ask these too.
Sure.
So I don't know this person either, but I think it's A.D. Cranley. I hate it if I say someone's Instagram name wrong. She asked if you can show us the floor.
Do you want to see the floor? Sure. Yep. Let's see. Let me unplug you. So I'm in this is my bedroom. I'm sitting on my bed. And so next I have like a room attached to my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
Over here.
Oh!
So
that is so awesome. Wow, that's really perfect right in that area.
Yeah. And I have a fireplace.
Oh! That's fantastic.
That attaches the 2 rooms, so that's what heats my. But yeah, so let's look in the.
That is awesome. Oh.
Yes, it's amazing. Here, you can see from the edge too what it looks like on the edge. This is funny.
Okay.
Can you see?
Oh my gosh.
It's really cool. And I'm lucky on this. I don't have a door, so I don't have to worry about the door going into the space.
Okay.
It's like an opening. So.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yes, it's amazing.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us.
I love it. I mean, like I told you, there's nothing I'd rather talk about than Tracy, so,
That's why we're all here. So now we have another question from Aggie, which is a bit deeper than the squeaky floor question. Okay. She asked, what are you the happiest about at the moment?
At the moment? Mm-hmm. What am I happiest about at the moment? Oh, that is a deep question. Well, I just had my 15th anniversary with my husband.
That's awesome.
We've been married for 15 years, and that was 15 years went by really fast, which is kind of scary, but I was looking through like all the old photos of us together, and it was just, it was fun to see. We looked like babies too. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so young. And on a side note, I didn't even recognize my body. Like 22. Well, I met him when I was 22. 22, my body is like entirely different. So I absolutely have a way better body than I probably, maybe in high school, like, you're in high school, I don't know. But no, absolutely.
Wow.
No. But yeah, reminiscing about that, we bought a date night box too to do on our anniversary, and it was lame, by the way. But we did it.
Was it? Oh, I was just gonna say, like, that sounds fun.
I thought so too. It was like a murder mystery in Hawaii, but it was not solvable.
Oh.
You were supposed to Google things and like come up with the fact that like the sunset on Diamond Head is at a certain time, and someone lied about it. I don't know.
Oh. Okay.
But we had fun. We had fun doing it.
Well, it's a way to connect, I guess.
Right. Exactly. And we both work from home, so we see each other a lot.
Yeah.
It's nice to do those things because our kids have good bedtimes because I also need my time at night to like decompress. But then I want to veg on the couch, and it's like I go to sleep really early, so it's like an hour or something, and so it is nice to like carve that time out to connect. So yes, I would say that is what made me the happiest.
That's excellent. Let's go back to a couple of planned questions. So, I think I know the answer to this, but have you ever met Tracy, and have you ever been to a Vitality Week or a studio?
I have. So I went to the Studio City Vitality Week in 2015, which was amazing. And it was 2 days with Maria Kelling and Stacy McDermott, and then 2 days with them and Tracy.
Okay.
And it was epic. So the first 2 days, there was only like 13 or 14 people there.
Wow.
Which Roz was one of them.
Okay.
And that's when I met Roz. And it was just, and Tracy Ellis Ross walked in.
Oh!
And her and I looked at each other. She's like, "You know who that is?" I'm like, "I don't know who that is." Which was just kind of fun, But so we got body consults with Maria and Stacy. So they private, and then they did which she doesn't really do anymore, the allergy blood work and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It was, and the workouts with them were like epically epic. They, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And then 2 days with Tracy, which was also like, I was totally fangirling because I got the mat that was like to her bottom left. So Maria was in front of me, I think, and she put it on streaming, so I've saved.
Oh,
wow. So I can, show my kids later in life.
Yeah.
But I was like one back, and then, but when you watch yourself in those things, you're like, man, I look stupid on this. But no, it was awesome. The whole time I'm like, that's Tracy's shoe. That's Tracy's, I'm looking at Tracy in the mirror.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And then she always does selfies with everyone too, which is, so I have that, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then I went to the San Diego Vitality Week, which was after my son was born. So I think it was 2018, and Tracy got sick.
Okay.
So she didn't go to that one, but she sent Maria Kelling and Maria Davidson.
Okay.
Which Maria Davidson, I had always wanted, like, her swag. Like, when she does her dance cardio, she's like, all this swag. And I'm like, who is this person? And so it was really fun to meet her. And they gave, like, amazing advice. So they did a whole thing at the end of one of the workouts where they just did all these different basic movements. Maria Davidson did. And Maria Kelling walked around and adjusted us.
Oh.
So, like, an attitude lift and, like, or, like, all the different things. And then they adjusted us so that we could feel, like, how it was supposed to be in our body. I was like, oh. And she also, Maria Davidson also gave us a really good piece of advice about, like, with, like, particularly, like, an attitude lift. She said, it took me, like, 3 or 4 years. She's like, I'm a dancer. It took me, like, 3 or 4 years to figure out exactly how to do it, to get the feeling and the muscle that needed to be there. So she said, figure it out for yourself. It's not always going to look exactly like how Tracy's looks. You need to figure it out in your body to where you feel it in your muscles. Yeah. Which I thought that was great advice.
Yeah.
And then which I feel like spoiled to be saying this, I also went to the Brentwood Vitality Week that had Dr. Habib Siddiqui talking, which was, amazing. And my favorite takeaway from that, the only bad thing about that, because he was amazing to see, was that then we didn't have like the same type of talking with Tracy, because it was just the interview with Siddiqui. But one of the things he said, like, a man who was full of shit, if he puts on a suit and looks and gets really nice and dressed up and looks really great, he's still got shit in his pocket. Think about that. That one,
Fun.
That one stuck with me. I liked that one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Yes. And then also, if I ever go to LA, because I'm in near Sacramento, so I'm like 7 hours from LA. If I ever do go to LA, I try to do a class at the studios. So if I go to Disneyland or something, but LA is huge, so Disneyland's not really nearby for studios. But I also went to Long Island a couple summers ago for a wedding, and I dragged my family to the Hamptons. Which, I mean, the Hamptons is pretty cool, but like, I'm like, we're going to the Hamptons after the wedding, and I'm going to work out for 2 hours a day at the studio. And so my husband sweetly would drop me off for 2 hours and then take the kids and do stuff and then pick me up. Which, you know, saying all this, he's a sweet man. On vacation, you know, he's doing this. But working out in Watermill was like, it's like the holy grail.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. And Tracy wasn't there, so I didn't see her then. But it was just like, I mean, it was like my homeland. I'm like, I want to go back. Although my husband's like, I didn't really like the Hamptons, so I don't think we're going back. I'm like, oh, great. Oh. So, but no, I have a plan when she has Vitality Weeks again that I'm going to get myself there sometime. Awesome. And I want to call out the trainer that I had there, who I'm always commenting when people ask who she is. Mm-hmm. Her name is Crystal.
Okay.
Her Instagram is KLamaray57.
Okay.
She's done some of the cardios recently and multitask. So she's done the catapult this last month. Her energy is just like beyond. Like when I was in there with her, I'm like, how is she doing this? Like she's jumping higher. This is just like amazing. Mm-hmm. So if you can ever take a class with her, take a class with her because she's beyond.
Good to know. I'm not sure that I know who she is. That's fantastic.
Follow her. Yeah. Okay. She has a cute redheaded daughter too, which I have a redheaded daughter. Like, and they're the same age, so I feel like a kid.
What would be your advice to someone that's new to the Tamily?
Okay, so this is a good one because I feel like I have good advice. Because also I'm so in line with how Tracy feels about like all the BS that's out there in the fitness industry about like 5-minute abs and do this once a week and you have J-Lo's butt and all that stuff because we know that like it's not true. And so why is everyone, you know, they're trying to make money. Okay, so be consistent. It takes an hour to an hour and a half, 5 to 7 days a week to get results. If you don't put it in, you're not going to get it out. So, you know, just know that to begin with. And I know maybe that seems a little daunting at the beginning. Work your way into it. Mm-hmm. Start at beginners and work up. But know that it's a lifestyle change. That is what you're going to have to do if you want to see good results. And I always do say something is better than nothing, always. Always. If someone likes to run and that's what they want to do, run. Yeah. And you want to do it. It's absolutely 100% anything is always better than nothing. So don't say, oh, well, I can't do 1 hour a day, 5 to 7 days a week. Start and you'll get hooked. You'll get hooked to it. So you will do it more. But start with 30 minutes 3 times a week and then work up. Yeah. But get there because that's when you will see the big results. And trust in Tracy. And I know that can be hard sometimes too if you're feeling like, especially I was writing on the Tracy Anderson Method Facebook group recently about this because someone had a question about seeing more cellulite. And I'll be honest too, I still have cellulite. I mean, I think it's just the truth of life. People have cellulite. Maybe for Tracy you don't. I'm sure she probably doesn't, but I do. But they were seeing more cellulite after they had been doing it for a little while. And I remember her talking about intramuscular fat and how the way her method pulls all the muscles together, it squeezes that intramuscular fat to the surface so that you can burn it off. But it doesn't necessarily look pretty at first. Like, it's going to be there and like kind of be hanging out until you burn it off. That's good. That's good. That means you're like, it's working. And then once you burn that off, you'll see the results. So it's not necessarily a linear journey. Like but you'll get there in the end too. Right. And food does matter to see results, which I hate it because I like to drink wine and have pizza. Yeah. And I will say though, before kids, when I was younger, and I was doing 60 minutes of cardio a day, I would go and eat like Wendy's hamburgers all the time, cheeseburgers, and I was losing weight. But it might just be because I was younger, I don't know. Right. But maybe I was burning so much I can't do that now. Yeah. It doesn't work for me now. Yeah. But so food does matter to see results. But you know what though? Doing her method gives you the ability to have stuff. Like I try to follow the 80-20. So 80% of the time I try to do well. 20% of the time I have crap. My favorite food is Taco Bell. But so I still have Taco Bell, but I'm able to do that because of working out. But yes, food does matter to see the results. Read Tracy's book. Absolutely read Tracy's book because she talks about the cross vectors and you can really learn, about the method and what's behind it, which I think is important. And also it was funny, this is a side note, it was funny because when I was looking through my old posts, when I was seeing things that I had posted, moves that were hard to me, are like not hard to me anymore, which is so interesting to me, that because I thought I was also back then, you know, pretty strong. But so that's neat too, because it's evolved where like those things aren't necessarily hard anymore, which I think is cool. Like that you can, even by still doing this, she's still evolving everyone, which is really cool. Don't bullshit yourself, but do listen to your body. So don't, you know, convince yourself that, oh, well, you know, if I don't do it today, that's fine. You know, I'm not really feeling like it. But do listen to yourself. So like I was saying before, like if you like, and that's where Tracy, I think, is really great, is that it helps you figure out how to look inward and really connect to those things within yourself so that you can. And I think being pregnant also helped me connect to those feelings, because when you're caring about someone that's not just you, like you can tune into that a little more. Like, would this be good for my baby or not? Yeah. And then you're able to say, okay, yeah, I'm low on energy, but it would be good to move and it would be good for the baby. Or no, I'm not feeling it. That would be detrimental to my baby. That, you know, that really did help me figure that out. But yes, don't bullshit yourself, but also do listen to yourself. And my like number one, loud music. Like as loud as you can get it. That was a game changer for me, because as odd as it sounds, it really quiets the noise. So the louder it is, like the more like internal you can go and the more connected to yourself you can be. It sort of like takes everything else out. Yeah. And also a good playlist is awesome too. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. Like that's a big thing too in the studio, like because the music it's just so it's like vibratingly loud. Like I wish I could get music that loud. Right. So I used to use the Beats by Dre like headphones when my kids were little, because they were asleep, so I couldn't. Yeah. And I thought it was good. And then my husband at the beginning of quarantine bought me this speaker from Amazon. Okay. And it is beyond. Like it is so loud that it just it's so good. My neighbors luckily can't hear it inside their house, and we're friends with them. But she said to me, I came out and I was like, dang, Allison's listening to some really good music. What speaker is it? Well, I think the brand is like Abram Tech. Okay. It was from Amazon. It's like it's like a big cylinder, and it's a Bluetooth speaker, so you can hook up your phone. And like I have a playlist since the music went crap. Yeah. And we stopped having the Spotify classes. I was so into that. I've like created this really, really long, I call it my quarantam, of songs that it's like, I don't know, like 25 hours long now. And I just cycle through it. I use like all the old school streaming songs from the beginning. So I'd saved songs along the way that I liked. Like, do you remember that one from the beginning, like solo dancing? Do you remember that one? Does anyone remember that one? It was a really good one. That was in there. But some of the ones that she's done, and then like on the live weekends, she's publishing all her playlists on Spotify for the live weekends. So I go through those too and pull out songs and add them. So that's helpful. So having good music obviously is important. But you're totally right. It is a game changer. And it's funny how you can be like out of energy and sick of a move and the right song comes on, right? I know. I also like the more swear words in the songs. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I know. My friend was working out with me and she's like, man, what type of music do you listen to? Right. Like the dirtiest, harshest lyrics. Yes, I know. It's like, you know. I know. Totally. Definitely. More F words, the better. There's this one song that's by Lily Allen. It's F-U. Like, I'm just like, that's a good one. I'll have to add that one to my playlist. We have a question from Sintra in the chat. She says, can you post a link in your stories of your 25-hour playlist? Yes. So I have Amazon Music, Music Unlimited or whatever it is. So it's there. But I did recreate it in Spotify. Only about half of it's there right now. It's in my profile. The link is in my profile. Oh, okay. And I need to add the rest on. I will when I have a chance. So yeah, it's there. Awesome. Let's see what's next. What is something that you've learned from Tracy? So this is another one that I love because I've learned so much. But I narrowed it down to 3 things. So consistency is absolutely key. You need to be consistent. And you know how she always talks about it has to be like brushing your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that you do every day. Like, would you not brush your teeth? I mean, that sounds disgusting. So no, you wouldn't. And that's more tangible, right? Because you don't brush your teeth, you get nasty teeth. You go to the dentist, you have cavities, root canals, and it's a little more abstract with the, it's not so immediate with the workout. But same, like if you can put your mindset like that, like, you just do it. That's just part of your lifestyle, and you just do it. Your results are the truth of your performance. That is so huge for me too, because and she recently talked about this in another one. Maybe it was the other Ask Tracy, not this last one, but the one before, about like reaching all of your reps. Because someone was asking about being flexible or something like that. She's like, you don't have to be super flexible, and maybe it was in a talk afterwards. Like her arabesque isn't going to look like Madison's. They're different. Madison's is like, woo, or Courtney's is like vertical, right? But Tracy's isn't necessarily. But you should be reaching every single rep to get to that place for you. And that's when you're going to see the results. So the truth of what you see in your body is going to be how you perform in your workout. And when I'm really tired and like sweating my ass off, like that's what goes through my head. Like, and also I remember too, I didn't hear this from Tracy, but Miriam Tamily, I remember her saying like 95% of your results are in like the last 5 reps. So, and don't toe anchor. That's
right.
And then this is the biggest one. You can become your most balanced you, not someone else. So you're never going to be Gwyneth Paltrow. You're never going to be J-Lo. You're never going to be Tracy, although I would really, really love to look like her. You can become your most balanced you. You need, I've made a lot of progress, I think, towards living my body, me for me, how my body is most balanced. And I really feel like I've gotten to my balance, which is a fabulous feeling. And if you are always striving to look like something else or be somebody, you're never going to feel that. Like, it's so much, I just think it's amazing too, that like to be able to get to that place where you can appreciate your most balanced you.
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest one, because it's not just about your mind, your body too, it's about your mind too, which is, I think that's the more years that I've done this, the closer to that I feel like I've gotten. Because I definitely started at the beginning, like we said, about vanity, for sure. It was totally vanity.
Yeah.
I wanted smaller hips. I wanted smaller thighs. I wanted a perky butt. I wanted to look cute in a bathing suit.
Yeah.
Which, if that's what brought me to it, cool.
Right. Yeah. It's like so many of us come here for that, but it doesn't stay about that.
Nope.
So we have a very good question in the chat. This is the really pivotal thing I also learned from Tracy. The real Svetlana asked, what is a toe anchor?
So yes, it's not attaching an anchor to your toe. So like when you're on all fours and you're doing a move, I don't feel like I can show you. Like, you wouldn't put your toe down. So that doesn't even look right. You wouldn't put your toe down to hold yourself, because that's going to change where the contraction in the muscle goes and like how you're using your body. So you need to keep your toe, your foot. Can you explain it better than me?
So you don't want to bend your toe underneath. Let me see if I can get far enough back here.
Yes.
You don't want your toe bent. You want your foot flat.
And it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a lot harder if you have your foot correctly.
Like if you're doing a balance move like this with your foot flat, is way harder than like this.
Yes. So that's a toe anchor, which she was doing with her left foot. So don't do it. Unless Tracy does it. If Tracy's doing it, then you can do it. And that's another, that makes me think of another thing. Don't use more weight than she uses. You can use less. If you can't do it, if you can't hit the reps, or you need to figure out how to feel it in your body first, use less, but don't use more. Yeah.
Excellent point. So our interview is flying by, and I still have lots of questions for you, but this is so wonderful, Allison. We really appreciate all of your insight and getting to know you. let's see. Well, tell us about your routine with working out at this point. Because I know you talked a little bit about it before and like doing 60 minutes of cardio a day and stuff. What are you doing now?
Okay, so now I try to work out around 8 every morning. But sometimes, you know, depending, we just started distance learning with my daughter a couple weeks ago, so things have been definitely more crazy. And it's been adjusted, but I'm still doing it. And I am a work at home, and I was before COVID as well. Okay. So that, I will say, that is very helpful because my schedule can be flexible. But what I'm doing right now is I'm doing Attain 6 days a week, and then I'll do fundamental one day. So I usually do fundamental on Wednesday, and then I'll add 15 minutes of cardio, plus or minus depending on how long Attain is. So if Attain is extra long, I'll do less. If it's shorter, I'll do more. Okay. And then I have been doing the lives on the weekend, and now they're every other weekend. So if they're not on the weekend, I'll do the Attain, plus I'll do 30 minutes of cardio to sort of just have a little extra bonus. But that's the formula that seems to work for me, and it has definitely evolved through the years. Like I said, when I was doing Metamorphosis, I was doing the 30 minutes of mat work and then 60 minutes of cardio. And then once I had a kid, like at the beginning, I could not do more than 60 minutes. That's all my schedule could allow. So I was doing 60 minutes. And then eventually I went back to doing, 60 minutes and then 30 minutes of cardio. But then I felt like it was a little too much for my body. I was feeling inflamed and really, really hungry. So then, ratcheting. Then I was doing just Attain. And then it didn't feel like I was getting quite enough, because then I felt like I was gaining some weight. So then this is my happy spot right now, at least.
Okay, excellent. Well, we are at 2 minutes left in your interview. We're going to have to interview you again, Allison, because I think I have like 10 questions that I didn't ask. So we're going to pick just one more.
Okay.
How did you discover the Tamily, and what did you first post to Instagram as part of it?
Okay, it's a good one. So I was here at the beginning of the Tamily, so I was following it like right when, I think it was the beginning, right when streaming launched. Okay. And the Tamily name was coined, and Jillian was like doing all the theme weeks, which were amazing. So at the beginning, and then I was looking back through my posts. One of my very first posts was for the yellow theme week. Okay. I posted myself in a SpongeBob tank top. Yes, and it was for yellow, so that was interesting. And also, all my posts used to be like really, I've totally forgotten this because mom brain, but like the camera was like right here, and it was just like just this part of me. What are you doing?
Oh, that's so funny. Funny to reminisce. Well, we've now got a counter on the screen telling us that we have a minute left. Is there anything else you would like to say to the Tamily while you have this audience?
Well, just thank you. Thank you for always being so supportive. And I feel like everyone's really there for each other. And it's just, I have never, like in any other aspect of my life, had that type of unanimous support from like-minded people. And it's always so nice to connect with people that have these common interests and have a passion about something. Every single person that I've met from the Tamily at Vitality Weeks and other times are just, you have this immediate connection, which is just amazing. I love it.
It really is. It really is. Well, it's been so awesome getting to know you more, Allison. This has been one of the quickest interviews possible. So we'll definitely have to connect again and ask you a few more things. But thank you so much for being open and sharing with us and being our 109th interview.
Well, thank you so much. I had so much fun, and I didn't even drink the whole glass of wine. That's why.
Well, you got to finish that up. Thanks, Allison, and thanks for watching, Tamily. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.